Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We down here, we're back in the barbershop. Both of us, face to face.
Yes.
In Technicolor.
In Technicolor. What kind of accent was that?
I don't know. I've been trying different accents.
It's like a Canadian accent.
You were gone, and I tried.
Technicolor, eh?
It's funny when I read stories to Nora.
Do you use different voices?
Daughter, I use different voices.
You gotta do the voices. It's all about the voices.
It's all about the voices.
Otherwise, what's the point?
She doesn't like it though. She goes, "Daddy, do your normal voice." I'm like, "Yeah, but I would like to. I like to do the British accent sometimes.
Like to spice it up a little.
I like to spice it up. I do an Australian accent.
You do an Australian accent?
Yeah, when I'm reading Peppa Pig.
Oh, is that an Australian pig?
I don't know. I just do it in an Australian accent. I always do.
Jesus.
I always have.
Oh my God. Peppa Pig is actually a Mexican pig. Anyway.
Deep lore.
Deep cuts. Week 11, Jeff. What happened? You know what? Here's
do you want me to give the summary of Week 11?
Yeah, you can give me the summary of Week 11. But Week 11 happened so long ago.
Week
and
11
then we get
was
lost in the international hole of
just
international break.
It's just been a fever dream since.
It has been. So what happened with Week 11?
Week 11, there was a lot of things happening. Not so much in the shakeup of the table. Chelsea stayed on top. City, I think, moved up to second. Or, I don't know, Liverpool lost to West Ham. Which, West Ham's overachieving, I still think. But they played well. They got a couple second half goals and won 3-2 or 3-1 or whatever it was. Arsenal is continuing to win. I still think they're winning the games they should win. I think they beat Watford, right?
They beat Watford.
Wow.
Slow. You want to slow clap them?
I mean, they should win those games, and they do. They won the games.
So normally during international breaks, we have 2 weeks, and normally we do a pod at the first week and then the second week, and then we're right back into the Prem on that weekend. But this week we didn't. I was abroad. We also just decided to take a break. And John Scheimer texted me. He's like, "Where's my content?" Because he wants us to praise Arsenal. And I think Arsenal actually played really well. Arsenal probably should have scored 3 or 4 goals against Watford. But as you say, they should get those points. Arsenal, however, is playing well. They're actually in some of the best form right now of teams in the Premier League.
Sure.
They're ahead of Manchester United. They're ahead of Tottenham. They're ahead of Leicester. Everton.
I say
they're doing pretty well.
Look. I'm not going to slander Arsenal. I rarely slander Arsenal. Okay.
You
rarely slander Arsenal. As a Spurs fan, I would call what I am the most unbiased.
You act like Spurs fans. They wake up every morning and they just yell "fuck Arsenal" out their windows, and then they go on with their lives.
Yeah, basically. I don't do that though.
Oh, you don't do that?
No. But what I wanted to say is that I reserve my judgment for any team except for maybe, obviously Norwich, who are just piss poor, till after the holiday.
You got to make it.
You got to wait.
You got to February 1st. That's for me.
Yes.
Because then you made it through the holiday, and then you made it through January.
Yep.
If you make it between February and March is normally historically where Arsenal would essentially shit the bed, because they would get knocked out of the Champions League, out of the round of 16 in the last 10 to 15 years when they were in the Champions League. And then they would have so many injuries that they wouldn't be able to possibly touch the title. And then they would just be holding on to the thing that I guess they win the most, which is the FA Cup. And they do have a historical dominance on that. I was wrong about that. I said they didn't, but they're very dominant in that competition. So by February 1st, is Arsenal still sitting in 5th?
No.
I think they're probably somewhere around 7th and 8th. I think Leicester are going to pick it up. United's definitely going to have to pick it up. And now that Tottenham's playing a 3-5-2, I mean, they're basically going to win the Champions League, even though they're not even in the competition.
Conte was appointed. We know that. I think that would happen before the international break.
That happened before, yeah. Once again, the international break is such a
January 1st, there is a transfer window that opens, and there's rumors that Spurs will get Vlahovic from Fiorentina. That would be a huge get. I still think they're going to probably buy him and then have to sell Kane, because Levy wouldn't just buy a player for $65 million and not sell a player.
But he's not selling Kane, Jeff. I will eat my words, but he's not going to sell one of the most high-profile players in the January.
Speaking of Harry Kane, everyone's favorite punching bag, who's not a Spurs fan, even English people who should be rooting for him, but now say he's just padding his stats, versus teams like San Marino, in which he scored 4 goals. The 10-0 drubbing England had over San Marino.
This is a nice organic flow.
Do you like that?
That was nice. Us talking about that, I really think. Well, we talked about this the other night. We have to rethink how we could do World Cup qualifying.
Oh my God, it's brutal.
I want us to redo it.
It's honestly the most mishmash, hodgepodge, nobody knows what's happening. Seems like every continent has their own way of qualifying, and it's just bizarre. Like the octagonal, they got the UEFA with the playoffs and 3 teams make it, and it's brutal. But so a bunch of teams in UEFA have already qualified. The standards, like England and Belgium and
Germany,
France, they've all qualified. But Portugal, screwed the pooch in their group with Serbia, and Serbia qualified over Portugal. Now, Portugal has to go play a 2-game playoff with teams like Sweden and Russia and Finland and Poland and a bunch of decent second-tier teams, basically, in UEFA, where it's a crapshoot, right?
Italy's in that too.
Italy, too.
Even though they just won the Euros,
they might not make
they shat the bed, and they may not make the World Cup for the second time in a row, which that'd be tough.
So for those teams that have to play in that 2-game playoff, essentially they play a semifinal and a final play-in, and then 3 teams make it.
So it goes from 12 teams.
12 teams
in one game. Then they cut down to 6.
Yep.
And they one more game, and they cut down to 3.
Yeah,
and those 3 teams will make. Does the 4th team that finishes the highest, do they have a playoff with another, or are they just
No,
out?
they're just out. The thing is, it all comes down to the draw, and the draw is on November 26th. We'll see how those teams get pulled and drawn. I think it probably comes down to how they finish in their group and maybe their world rankings. But either way, I mean, Italy could draw in a group with
not
Russia,
even a group. They could just draw Portugal.
Yeah, they could just
Italy
draw Portugal.
Could just draw Portugal.
Italy could just draw Russia.
It's a one and done, right?
Yeah, it's like a one and done, and it's probably goes to extra time in PKs. I'm sure that's the situation. So, my prediction is it's going to be Italy, Portugal, probably Russia. That's probably my 3.
Sweden's in there. I like Sweden.
Sweden's good.
Sweden's good.
Poland's pretty good. They got Lewandowski.
They got Lewandowski and Buksa from the Revs. I mean, it's all a crapshoot. Having to win 2, just knowing straight up you have to win 2 soccer games, it's just really tough.
And you got to play. I mean, you got to play 2 more games too. Like all the other teams have qualified. They played 10 games.
I think that's right.
Yeah, and now they have to play 2 more. That's always crappy. And then in the octagonal, there's all these. You got to play 14 games. We saw the U.S. draw today against Jamaica.
After beating Mexico,
I thought. I mean, Jamaica's. You go look at their team, it's a bunch of MLS players and Mikel Antonio. And so they have some decent players. They got a couple players from the championship, English championship. So on paper, they're a little bit better than people would think, but it seems it's like a Jekyll and Hyde team. They go out and they play really well against Mexico, and then they just kind of shit the bed against Jamaica. And I thought they looked fairly conservative. I just felt like they didn't want to lose that game. Pulisic didn't start. He came on the 60th minute, 63rd minute or something. Immediately made an impact. I mean, he goes direct at players and gets fouled, and that's I think is some of his biggest contribution. But I do think their set piece play is poor, very poor. Their corners and free kicks are just poor. They're not a good set piece team right now.
Probably on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
They don't defend well.
They don't defend well on set pieces.
But to be fair with the Jamaica game, they had 82% possession from what I can see at what I'm looking at here. That is freakish. Jamaica basically, they got one, and it was just
and Mikel Antonio worldly.
Yeah, and once they got that, they're like, all right, we're going to get a point away from the U.S., the leaders of the qualifying group. We're just going to hold on. Because right now they're not in the top 3 direct qualifiers. I think they're getting close to the 4th play-in. But you don't want to be in the play-in. You want to just direct qualify. But I just don't see a way in the top 3. It's not the U.S., and then Mexico or Canada, or then Canada and Mexico. I think the U.S. will still finish in the top. But I do worry that we play down to our competition. We play to our competition. So when we play Mexico, we balled hard. But then when we play Jamaica, we just got to get it done. You got to find another goal.
Yeah, you just got to score.
You got to take a guy in the box and get fouled, and then you get a PK, and then you go through.
That's why I don't think Berhalter really knows what he's doing. He just kind of.
Well, the tough thing with Berhalter was he beat Mexico 2-0. We had the 2-0, which everyone needs to have at home. And then everyone kind of I don't hear anything about Berhalter. I don't hear anything about firing him. And we tie today, we're going to hear more stuff. So it's nothing has really changed with the team. He still probably needs to move on. But I don't think U.S. Soccer is going to move him on if they finish first in the group, which I do still believe that they will do, which sucks. Because then they're going to be in a kind of weird conundrum because we're going to have qualified by like March of next year, and then there's still almost 9 months until the World Cup because it's next December.
Right.
Which is plenty of time to bring in a new coach, to implement a new system, to have that coach make sure that we play exceedingly competitive international friendlies all the way up into the World Cup, especially this summer, and have the guys in camp and have them, really working on whatever formation they're going to do, whatever they're going to do.
We need a coach.
This is the most time we've ever had in the World Cup to get ready.
We need a coach that has coached European talent and knows how to coach those guys as opposed to MLS guys, honestly.
I really want to see Jesse Marsch. I want him to leave
Jesse Marsch would be great.
The Red Bulls at the end of the season, and I want him to say,
he might get fired.
Oh, he might get fired too. But
I mean, they didn't move on. They're moving on, I think, to the Europa League.
They are moving on to the Europa League. But I just think I would love to see him say, hey, I'm going to take a year and take the 6 months after the World Cup and just sign like a 2-year contract as U.S. men's coach and just try to do it. He's been coaching talent in Germany, and he's class.
Yep.
He's class. And I just think he's actually the perfect hybrid of a coach that I think maybe we need if we can't go out. Because I wanted them to get Antonio Conte, obviously, before Spurs picked up Conte. But we'll see what happens. However, if Italy doesn't make it, maybe we can get Mancini because he will get fired if he doesn't make the World Cup after winning the Euros the way they did. But we'll see. It's all up to play for. I will say a World Cup without Ronaldo would be kind of weird. But at the same time, Portugal always play these games. They always qualify late, and then they get thrown in the group of death because their FIFA ranking is so low and their World Cup qualifying ranking is so low, and then they get boned.
We are going to have to prepare ourselves for a World Cup without Ronaldo and Messi. I mean, they are getting older. We gotta move on.
It's dark.
It's dark, but you can't just be living in nostalgia dreams forever.
Jeff, let's live in nostalgia.
It's just nostalgia. It's all nostalgia society. That's it.
That is society.
Yeah, we just love to live in this nostalgia. We can play highlight reels of Ronaldo.
Remember in high school we scored that goal?
Remember when the worldie happened? When Ronaldo scored like 12 worldies in one game? Remember that?
Remember when Ronaldo scored 3 PKs against San Marino and everyone said GOAT?
That's what I also feel like. I'm like, go qualify in Bolivia and La Paz when you're 2 miles up and there's like horrible air quality, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Why don't you go play there? When Bolivia beat Argentina in 2014, qualifiers, I believe, 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, like England gets to play like freaking Andorra and
Yeah, and they
San
play on these
Marino.
nice like pro turf
The
fields,
best-
and
the
they just
best-
roast them.
Meme I saw on, I think it was like TikTok or something. It was like somebody who was like, I went to look at England's qualifying group, and it has like him mouse over each team, and then there's a link to each national team, and then he goes on San Marino. They don't even have a link. They don't even have a link to their national team. That's how
They have a website?
they don't even have a website, bruh.
We have a website, bruh. BoysandBulls.com. We got swag and other stuff. Check it out.
But seriously, like these teams are a joke. 10-0.
I mean, dude, San Marino is literally like a pro team playing that town, wherever it's located, their best high school team. San Marino, there's like literally like 50,000 people, I think. It's not even... It's like Italy playing the Vatican because that's actually its own sovereign country.
You said something interesting yesterday or the day before. It was like, why don't World Cup just be the top 32 teams?
So Jeff and I were talking, and I'm like, dude, name and I said I want to add 8 because I want to add a little. So if I make it 40, and then the top 8 or the bottom 10 play off, and then you end up with 32. So that way they start. But there's like a pre-tournament tournament to play in, but you're still going to the World Cup, but like you haven't been drawn into a bracket yet. And then you actually do the groupings in real time, like a week before, not like way before. So you have 40, you just take your top 40 in the world. But before the World Cup, you set up to have teams like Germany will play Costa Rica. Brazil will play Holland.
Yeah, and they're not
The U.S. gets to play Japan.
they're not friendlies. They're games.
They're actually no more of these friendly games. If you're going to take players, you're going to fly them around the world and expose them to variants of COVID. It should be worth something. There should be some stones behind it. So, South Korea goes and plays Colombia, but you basically play a bunch of teams from all the other different qualifying groups, from Oceania, from Europe, from South America, from Central America, and Africa. And you basically have to play a certain amount of teams over the years between the World Cup, and then that influences your ranking. And if you have amateur games, you can also have friendly games too, and then that will count. Then you have the Gold Cup, the Euro Cup, the Copa America. All of those things also influence your ranking. And then at the end of that, 6 months for the World Cup, the top 40 go. That's it. Because that way I can see Germany finally play Panama in Panama City, and I can say all the people, oh, it's easy to play in Panama. Come on, the U.S. should do it. No, fucking not. It's 96 degrees
And they're playing
at
in a
night
cage.
in 96 degrees humidity. You're playing in a cage, and the night before outside the hotel, people are literally lighting fireworks off and playing reggaeton all night. And then you go out and you play on this field, which is like a dog shit field. And they let the grass grow, and they let the whole thing divot up, and they're all wearing their long cleats, and they know that they're just trying to play for a tie. Whereas Germany goes and plays San Marino on this nice turf field. It's like 70 degrees on the Mediterranean, super nice, and it's a drubbing. If you play on shitty fields, or if you play in La Paz, like I want to see Holland go play in La Paz, where it's 2 miles up, where literally it's impossible to play. That's what I'd love to see. I think that would actually give us the best FIFA ranking and allow us to see who are the teams that should be in the World Cup.
Sure.
For me, it would be more like a Mortal Kombat situation.
I don't disagree with you. I think the disparity in qualification standards between different nations is like it doesn't even it's not a level playing field.
It's
for
night and day. It's
Yeah.
night and day. And there has to be VAR.
There has to be VAR.
If there's going to be VAR at the World Cup, you have to have VAR, because I was watching the game between Ghana and South Africa today. And South Africa got a penalty like late in the game, and I think it's going to mess up Ghana's qualification. Or maybe I have Ghana and South Africa. But
South Africa got a penalty. South Africa got a penalty and Ghana scored, and now South Africa is appealing it.
Because it was bullshit.
It was bullshit.
It was
wasn't a
literal
real
bullshit.
penalty.
If
It
you
wasn't a
had
penalty.
VAR, it would be taken away. So I think it's crazy that Europeans will have VAR, but then CONCACAF doesn't have VAR. Like, everyone has VAR, no one has VAR. If there's going to be VAR at the World Cup, though, then everyone should have VAR. And unless they can have VAR at their stadiums, then they can't host. That's like a cutoff.
Yeah, it's
Because otherwise, you're literally then you're going to go to the World Cup and have to play literally a different set of rules. So much stuff has happened in the CONCACAF that I'm like, dude, that's a red, but they can't go back and
we
review it.
can't look at it. There just has to be more. Yeah, there has to be more of an even playing field. And I that's a pun.
And
Thank you.
it's a nice
Thank
pun.
you.
It's a nice pun.
Yes, but
But it's like if CONCACAF and CONMEBOL and the Africa, if they can't get it together because literally the federations don't have enough money, and we're actually talking about like, income and wealth inequality and like poverty and shit like that, then that's fine. Then that means Europe, though, they shouldn't use VAR either. If there's more teams that can't afford it, then Europe, you don't get to use VAR
right,
either.
because they're qualifying for a tournament that everybody's supposed to go play in.
Yeah,
Like
that
what?
uses VAR.
That uses VAR. This doesn't make any sense.
I did the last World Cup use VAR.
I don't know if the last
The last World Cup didn't, but I think this one is
this
going
one
to.
will, yeah.
So you have to play under the conditions in which you're going to go compete at. Anyways, I do think FIFA needs to redo it. I'm glad that all 20 Premier League teams voted against Arsene Wenger's asinine idea of having a World Cup every 2 years. I just
Real
think
dumb.
that's super
dumb.
stupid. Who is it? Was it Van Dijk? I think Van Dijk came out. And he's like, yeah, you can just tell that they. Courtois also said this, but I think it was Van Dijk more recently. He's like, yeah, you just can tell that they don't care about us, like us being the players. They just want us to play as much as they possibly can. They're making up tournaments, so we'll play. They made up the Nations League. They just pulled it out of their butt just so they can like sell TV rights.
Yeah, it's brutal.
No one cares about that.
Speaking of TV rights,
Oh yeah, tell me about the thing the CBS,
I read
NBC.
CBS, NBC, ESPN are all vying for those Premier League rights for the next whenever the NBC contract runs up. I think it's after next year, and they're in they're like in negotiations. I think they're trying to Premier League's like accepting bids like now for who gets the rights, and it's going to be obviously it's going to be more than what NBC paid last time, and one that means more money for Premier League teams. The top teams won't matter as much because they're already, But for the bottom teams, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal for the league, just in general.
Yeah, a big deal for the league. And honestly, NBC, the whole Peacock thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I don't want it to be on CBS, in my opinion, because Paramount Plus is annoying.
Paramount Plus is annoying.
It's real annoying. ESPN, actually, I think, they have the Bundesliga and some La Liga right now, and I think they're looking to, and ESPN's a much bigger global brand. I think they could do a really good job. I think ESPN could eventually. I could see ESPN getting it just because they have the money. They have that whole Disney backing, and
I would prefer ESPN to get it. I think I really like their pundits. And something I was telling you is that when I was in Colombia recently, their Colombian ESPN soccer like Saturday and Sunday morning team is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So each country literally has their own, like, ESPN Chile, ESPN Argentina, ESPN whatever, as far as I can see. And they were awesome. Like, their punditry was good. It was, like, really good analysis. It wasn't like sometimes where I feel like I'm watching NBC or CBS and they just pull out these old players and they're just talking out their ass. Like, I don't mind Clint Dempsey talking about the MLS, the Premier League, or the U.S. national team, but sometimes they'll throw him on, like, the Bundesliga or some shit, or something he's just out of his depth. I'm like, flexing fame and flexing, like, old players at some point. Like, not all great players are good coaches and good pundits, period. And I sometimes feel like they're putting in square holes and round pegs.
Yeah, I think
Square holes and round pegs. Square pegs and round holes. That's right. English. What a language.
You
I caught you off surprise there, didn't I?
boy oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
I'm not like a big Disney guy, obviously. I don't think that like it's a great company. It's generally pretty evil.
Speak on it, Jeff.
I don't know. But
Father of three.
They do
Disney is the Antichrist.
yeah, I got some strong opinions on Disney.
Yeah. Why don't you speak on it?
But I am a Disney Plus subscriber.
What, dude? I really hate Jeff Bezos, but I love my Amazon. That's what you just said.
I didn't say that.
You, in as many words. That's
I
what you
hate
said.
Elon Musk, but I got a Tesla.
I hate him on, but I love my Tesla.
But I think ESPN could do a pretty good job. I'm not like it's. I think the NBC and Paramount or NBC and CBS coverage would be very like hodgepodge, like it is now. With like you got games on NBC, SN, NBC Sports Network, then you got games on like what is it? What's channel 35? Whatever that
USA.
USA.
And then they have also on the Peacock. NBC, SN, USA. And then just when CBS would do the Champions League, sometimes they'd have one on CBS and they'd also throw one over to TNT somehow. It's just such a shit show. For us as the US spectator, the US audience.
I have taken a liking to, because CBS and Paramount Plus has Champions League. You can watch the Golazo show, and you can basically, it's like the red zone for Champions League. And like anytime, there'll be in Champions League games, there's like 6 games going on at once, and you like they'll have all.
I know,
6
I hate
games
it.
up.
You love it. I hate it. It's so annoying. It's just like you're like watching something. It's like goal, because all it does is show you the goals.
It goes you to the goal. It doesn't
It
show
goes you to the goals.
It goes you to the
It goals you to the golazos.
No, it
just hit the blunt,
takes you
dude.
to the game after the goal has been scored, and it shows you the build up to the goal.
Yeah, I know, but
It doesn't like have like some algorithm where it predicts like when.
No, I know it doesn't, because otherwise they'd be onto bigger things called sports betting. But I just want to watch the flow of the game. I want to be. I want to get into the flow.
I
wanna
remember there was a
understand all the
game. There was a
players, the
0-0 game.
vibes.
What was the game that was like 0-0? And you're like, this game is amazing. It's so great. I'm like, gouge my eyes out. This game.
Yeah,
sucks.
and then it didn't end 0-0, and there was like 3 goals at the end. You're like, yeah, it was a pretty lit game.
That it got lit when they started scoring.
You're such a bum. You're such a bum. Some of the best games in history have been 0-0 ties.
As soon as I started talking shit about the game, this
yeah, you were just like, I hate this. This is why I hate this shit. And then it was like back heel goals, bicycle kicks, like worldies from 30 out, goalies getting red card because he like stone cold elbowed some dude. Like,
either way, that's the whole thing with the Premier League rights. I would like to see a little change, a little switch it up. Maybe that's what I care for more. Is that like
if I knew all the Premier League games were gonna be on this app, ESPN Plus or whatever, I would buy ESPN Plus tomorrow. I wouldn't even think about it. But they've never been able to get that together, because some will be on Peacock, some will be on NBC.
No.
Some will be on NBC.
I will say that if it's on ESPN, I think the way that they would do it would be if you got an ESPN Plus membership, you would just be able to watch all the games.
That's what I'm saying. But I've been waiting for that one-off where I know I can watch all the games from the Premier League just on one thing. Because I'm saying, like, right now, it's like NBC,
I know, but
SN, and Peacock.
But at the very least, if you have like a Comcast subscription, and I know Comcast sucks, you can watch you can conceivably put on every game. I know it's not convenient.
You can. But
it's better than England.
But we're in the cut the cord generation,
true.
and a lot of people don't have cable.
And a lot of people.
And I just have my phone where I want to stream.
Sure.
So when it's on NBC or NBCSN, unless I come to your house or go to my parents' house, I can't watch it. And that's why I'm just like, it just all needs to be streaming. It's 2021. It all needs to be streaming.
It needs to be
Like,
streamed.
I'm waiting for Netflix to come in because they have billions and be like, yo, we want the Prem done. And they just have, when Netflix gets into streaming, it's a freaking wrap
But
for all these
no,
jamokes,
but
dude.
no. I don't think Netflix has the cash. Netflix doesn't have nearly as much money as Disney.
Okay, well, Disney's got that Frozen money.
Disney has
They got that Frozen
They got that
money.
Elsa money.
They got that. If you haven't seen Frozen, get with it. Liddy.
It is true. They do. I think that's why I think
Netflix
ESPN's gonna get it.
Netflix got money though, dude. They got billies. Dude.
No. I think ESPN.
I'm not going to
ESPN's
argue
getting
that
money.
Disney doesn't have.
I don't think
has
they're in
less
the.
money.
I also don't think they're ready. They're not in the race for that. That's not their.
They're not in the race yet, but I'm saying if they ever decided to.
But they would have to go create a whole new
no, they wouldn't.
thing. Yes,
No, they wouldn't.
yes, they would.
They just put it on their thing and they call it streaming and it's sports. And
Yeah,
it
but
just says the Premier League.
You got to understand. NBC has their own pundits. NBC has their own.
You don't think Netflix couldn't pull that out of their butt super
No,
quickly if they wanted to?
I don't think they could do it.
I totally think they could.
Or are they gonna just hire all the people that got
Well,
fired from NBC?
Yeah, and once those people are out of contract, they're
That's
gonna
true.
go. They're gonna go clean
That's
them
fair.
up.
But they still have to put together. It's like a
ESPN
whole.
has a healthy rotation, and they could just go get a bunch of old players and coaches like they
There's still
normally do and
there's
just
still
stack
some
them in there.
there's still some infrastructure things they would have to like deal with.
Some infrastructure things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix is really going to be bankrupt by building $1 million studio. Dude, you're just so deep in the Disney lore, you can't see outside of it.
ESPN, CBS, and
NBC.
are all already set up for it. I think those are the three that are gonna bid. I don't think Netflix is gonna quite get in there.
You know, Hulu.
But
has
maybe you
live
should go
sports.
pitch it to them. Maybe you should go pitch it to Netflix.
They're probably already thought about it. They're probably pissed that Hulu beat them to it and had
Plus, they're getting that Squid Game money.
that Squid Game money is deep money.
Yeah.
That shit's lit.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Squid Game, also, you should watch it. And Jeff, you haven't even seen it. You bum.
I'm a bum. All right, we're not even gonna get into the Netflix
Let's go
discussion,
In. Let's go in.
dude. So Jarrett, a few weeks ago,
I know
before
where
he
you're
left,
going.
before
I
he
know
left for Colombia, my wife and I were watching Sex Education. Lit show, good show.
If you haven't seen Sex Education, you need to watch
It's
it.
very good. It's very good. Don't be a prude. Just watch the show. Open your eyes.
Or
Get
watch it
woke.
with your eyes closed.
Or watch it with your eyes closed. Listen to the noises.
Different vibe.
But I said to Jarrett, we're watching this show. It's really good. We're in season 1. You should watch it. Jarrett doesn't like. He's not to be influenced by anybody else. He needs to experience things organically.
I knew you were gonna use that word.
So he didn't say, and I will give him credit. He didn't make any. He didn't deny that the show was good. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it." He just kind of stayed neutral on it. He just was like, he heard me, he processed it, and decided not to do nothing with it. He gets back from Colombia and he goes, "Dude, yeah, Sex Education's a great show. I really think that it's a great show and it's really lit." Like, he was informing me that the show was good. Like, I didn't already know. And then he goes, "What season you on? Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm in season 3." And he's like, "Oh, I'm still in season 2."
I still am on season 2.
He's watching it with his lady friend. So
My lady friend.
he can't cheat on her in
I
the
can't.
sense.
If I get more than an episode ahead, there's problems.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't do that. Anyways, back to soccer.
It's a little tangent.
It's a little minor Netflix tangent for all you out there who have. But anyways, you got to watch on Netflix Sex Education. Just absolutely phenomenal. So also right now, Mexico and Canada are playing, and they're playing in like inches of snow. Even though they cleared the field off, but the field is definitely frozen. It's gonna be a cold game. Because the U.S. and Jamaica tied, we want a Canada and Mexico tie. So Max lost points at the top, and then we'll still stay in first, maybe on goal differential. But let's look ahead at next week on the Prem. So the Prem fires back up on this Saturday.
Oh, I got one more thing to say.
One more thing to say.
About the Prem. Get back on track. There are now 4 new managers in the Prem.
Do you want to call them out while we go through the games?
Yeah, let's do that. So 4 new managers. We'll call them out as we go through the games. Hit me.
The first game is actually a really nice one because Chelsea needs to get back on track after we should have beat Burnley 35-0, but we only tied 1-1. Awesome. Everyone's excited. Leicester City, Chelsea. 7:30 Saturday. I will be getting up early to watch this game.
Chelsea had a lot of international players go out. I don't think there were any injuries. That's good. I don't think Leicester had too many internationals going, so they got some extra
Not that I know of.
training in. Little wind sprints.
Extra
Couple
recovery.
wins. Recovery. B. Raj has them on a recovery
This
plan.
game is going to be at the King Power, and Leicester need this win more than Chelsea do.
Absolutely.
I still think Chelsea win this. I think it's going to be a boring game. I think it's going to be 1-0 Chelsea. Chelsea just,
Agree.
we just haven't been scoring like I think we need to be scoring against the more competitive teams.
Yeah, you need Lukaku to score some goals, but I think he's still hurt. Either way, it's going to be Kai Havertz, maybe Pulisic.
Pulisic might be back. He's going to be hopefully back because that would be sweet.
Got some minutes.
He got some minutes, came in off the bench, scored 5 minutes after being subbed on against Mexico. Just looked great. If you didn't get his man in the mirror tee, it's because Memo Ochoa said the U.S. Mexico is the mirror that the U.S. looks at when they're trying to figure out like who they want to be. He basically said this really like stupidly poetic thing in Spanish for no reason other than to just be a douche.
Yeah.
So then when Christian scored, he had the T-shirt that said "Man in the Mirror," which was just amazing.
He scored on a header, and he's 5'3", which that should never happen.
He's 5'2" with heels.
But he scored a header. It was a nice goal.
If you're going to score a header, you got to do it against Mexico and take advantage. Even though their back lines, the CBs are pretty big. So I got 1-0 Chelsea. You agree?
Yeah, it's going to be boring. Chelsea doesn't give up goals. I just don't see the Leicester
We
scoring.
really don't really give up too many goals. Next game is going to be a nice one because you got the team that I still think's hitting a little bit above their weight. Only like 2 positions above. So you have West Ham and Wolves. What do you think on that one? And
Ooh.
I will tell you,
I want Wolves to win.
It's been played at the Molineux.
I think Wolves have actually been playing a lot better.
I want Wolves 1-0. It's at
Jimenez to
Molineux.
score
1-0.
1-0.
I'm going to go 2-1 because West Ham scores goals, dude. They scored 3 against Liverpool.
Yeah.
2-1?
That's fair. Yeah, I think it's 2-1. I'm optimistic that Wolves will pull it out of their butt. 2-1.
2-1. The next one is Watford Manchester United. Watford is currently sitting right above relegation in 17.
And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not one of the new. He's not. He's still there. He's still at Man United. They have no plans of getting rid of.
No, he's gonna. I don't see.
He's sticking around.
I think he's gonna be around the whole season at this point.
Yeah, he's gonna be around.
Unless
if they get beat like 5-0 and he's still around,
if they don't qualify for the
Derby.
Champions League and they lose to Watford and other things happen, then yeah, he will be asked to leave.
Or he didn't lose 5-0 in the Derby, lost 2-0 in the Derby. But either way,
It could have been like 7-0.
it could have been
that
bad. It was
City
really bad.
team. If it wasn't for David De Gea, that City team would have scored 4 or 5 goals, easy.
Fair.
I got a tie in this game. It's at Vicarage. I'm not really like,
You really don't think United can beat Watford?
dude. United's just like
They're pretty.
they
meh.
just ride on Ronaldo,
Yeah.
dude. And they're not like they didn't even. I wasn't able to see the full game. The City United. You watch the highlights. There's not even like it's just all City.
Yeah.
I'm just
it's
not
Ronaldo vibes. That's all it is.
It's Ronaldo vibes.
It's Ronaldo vibes.
I've got 1-1, and I'd love them to do a tie.
Yeah, I'd love to see a tie. I'd love to see a 1-1 tie, but I think it's going to be 2-1. I still think Watford will score, but I think United will pull it out.
Okay. The next game we have Norwich and
Although
Southampton.
I will say that Pogba is hurt and he's going to be out for like a month.
He's gonna be out. He hurt himself in French
Van de Beek
training.
might get some minutes, but free Van de Beek because I heard that he probably will going to move, and it's probably not going to be to a Premier League club, but in January he'll going to move.
God, I hope he gets a move just for like the gods of football. The dude wants to play the sport. Let him freaking play.
Yeah.
And Ole denied his
move
transfer
to Everton,
for Everton, which I saw today.
and
I,
he's played like 150 minutes since that.
out of 1,200 minutes.
including like cup games and stuff. Like that's brutal. Like
No, that's including training.
that's including warm-ups.
Ole doesn't even let him run and train. He's
No.
like, you sit, you don't move.
Dude.
So
Talk
the
about
next game is
ice
Norwich and Southampton, and here you can talk
Here
about
we go.
new coaches.
Daniel Farks. Daniel Farks.
I don't know how to. I never know how to.
He got
pronounce
fired.
names.
He got fired after they won their first game.
After Norwich
Norwich
finally got
won
their
their
first
first
W,
win.
they asked him to leave. That's
And
really dark. Like if
it's
you're
really
that
dark.
coach, he's just been trying all season. He's like, dude, my chips are down. I
I
got
lost my best
basically
player from last season
I have
to,
like
to
a
Tottenham.
competitive MLS team out here. I'm taking him like every which way. Finally get a dub. He's pumped. He goes back in, slams the whiteboard that says like win today, and then the board's like, see you, buddy.
He goes. He leaves the locker room for a minute. He comes back to his desk and there's a pink slip on it. Rough.
Geesh.
Some of the little gnome snuck in there, put the pink slip on his desk, and he got out of there. But anyway, they hired Dean Smith. Brought him in. I think it's fine.
Dean Smith's an undertaker because Norwich is getting relegated no matter what.
It's fine. He knows it.
So this game is Norwich for Southampton. Southampton's sitting in 13th. I got Southampton 1-0. I'm really not feeling a lot of goals. I don't know. After the international break.
I'm not feeling Southampton just in general. I mean, I called them to get relegated. I don't think they will at this point. I think their teams are way worse, like Newcastle. Hachi machi.
Do you think 1-0 is legit for Southampton to win? My God, Jeff.
That was brutal.
That was brutal.
I'm thinking about Newcastle, just their back line. That's
Can
what
you
I'm thinking
focus
about.
on Southampton and Norwich?
I can't even think. That's so bad.
Yeah, you like blacked out.
Just blacked
All right, we're going to the next game. I don't even care about your thing.
Yeah, I think Southampton will win. Low scoring game, 1-0. It's fine.
God damn it.
All right.
All right, next game, Newcastle Brentford. Here, Jeff, you can talk about new coaches again.
Newcastle United. They had sacked their coach, I think, before the international break, long
Yes.
before.
Steve Bruce was sacked before he was
Bruce.
appointed.
They're so bad. But they did get Mr. Bournemouth himself, Eddie Howe.
Good old Ehow.
And I think Eddie Howe sees the writing on the wall. That's Saudi money.
This is really I don't even know why they like big players aren't going to go play for Eddie Howe. So he's
No.
just there to the summer, and then the summer they're going to get someone new. Summer they're going to
Yeah.
get Mancini when Italy doesn't qualify for the World Cup. Legitimately, like I've said it now. It's been said on the pod.
Fair.
I've got this game Brentford winning 1-0. Once again, I'm going
Eddie
low
Howe's
scoring.
there just to keep them in the Premier League.
Yeah, but right now they're sitting 19th and they're negative 12 goal differential. So I've still got Brentford winning this game.
Oh,
sorry,
for sure.
Sorry, Ed.
I'm really hoping Tony scores a goal or two, but every time I want him to score and I start him in fantasy, he doesn't score. So I still think they're going to win. They're pretty good.
Do you like my score prediction?
2-1?
1-0.
Oh no, I think they win 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. I'll go
I mean, 1 goal. Yeah.
The next game is Burnley Crystal Palace. This is at Turf Moor. Come on down for your Turf
Crystal
Moor.
Palace is playing pretty well. I think they got some ballers. They got Zaha scored a goal finally. Actually, he's got like 4 goals. But
Crystal Palace is going to win this game.
yeah, they're good.
2-0.
You got Conor Gallagher.
Even though they're away, and Burnley just tied Chelsea.
Conor Gallagher gets loaned to Crystal Palace. He's balling these days. Makes the English national team.
Just got called up. First cap.
Pretty
and
good.
Smith Rowe got a first cap.
Pretty good.
2-0.
Yeah, that's good.
Next game is Aston Villa, Brighton Hove. You can talk about a new coach. Go.
Who Steven Gerrard makes his debut coaching premiere this weekend. He's the Rangers coach for a while. Won a bunch of Rangers, whatever they call them up there. Scottish Cups. Is that what they call them up there?
I guess the Scottish Premier League.
Scottish
They
Premier
went
League.
undefeated, which is really impressive.
That's
and
pretty
they
impressive.
ended what would have been Celtics' 10 years running of winning that league. So they didn't allow them to get double digits in a row, which is pretty cool. Stevie G back in the Prem at Aston Villa.
He looked very sharp in his training attire.
He looks good in purple.
He hasn't gained any weight. It looks like. I mean, maybe it's just some weight, but like he looks
I
trim.
wonder if he'll just like play for Aston Villa at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been dying to have a
Player
Prem,
coach.
a Prem player coach. I've been dying.
Yeah.
It's a fad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got Brighton Hove winning this 2-0.
I think Brighton Hove's hitting above their weight. I think it's going to be a 1-1 tie.
Next game, Liverpool Arsenal. If
Mm.
Arsenal win this game, I get worried about the bet I have with John Scheimer.
I do too.
However, this game will be played at Anfield. Liverpool are coming off a loss at Hammers. They're going to win this game 4-0.
I would love to hear it.
4-0. This is 1-2 where I say, oh, we should probably bet, and it will probably be 4-0. So I'm going to go 4-0. It's at Anfield.
I'm going to go 3-1,
That's cute.
but I still think Liverpool's going to smash.
So let's go to the next game, which is Manchester City, Everton. This game will be played at the Etihad. City is coming off a win at the Derby. They're just in better form right now than Everton, and it's at the Etihad. I'm going to go 3-1 City.
Agree. Everton couldn't even score a goal against Spurs. Eesh. But Richarlison's back.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And the last game of the week is none other than your two teams, your side chick and your main chick. That being Leeds and Tottenham. And the game will be played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What do you got in as many words? 2,000 words or less, Jeff. Tell me about your Spurs.
Spurs are set up in that 3-5-2, and they're going to dominate Leeds in the
You think
worst
so?
way. Oh yeah, it won't be close. Leeds are in some poor form. They got a bunch of players out, still injured. I got to commend them. they play their academy players, and that's admirable. But they're just not as good as Spurs. Even Spurs right now are with Kane in bad Premier League form and Son obviously not being able to play well unless Kane's playing well. They still have a decent back line with Romero and Dyer, and now I guess Davies is playing well. He scored a goal and is playing for Wales, and I think he's the preferred guy. Conte likes to have a left-footed left center back when the 3-5-2. Reguilon has been getting some extra time with Conte. I'm sure Royale went on international duty with Brazil, but Reguilon is the one that needs to find his groove in that wing-back position.
So what's the score?
Bergwijn scored today.
Bergwijn scored and Holland qualified off that goal. Sick.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even getting a call-up, and suddenly he's on the team, but he doesn't play he doesn't even start at Spurs. Who knows? What's the score? I'm going to go 1-0. I don't think Spurs are like...
You said they were going to destroy them.
Yeah, it's going to be a high... Like, they're going to have a lot of possession, and they're not going to... I don't think Leeds are going to have that many chances, but... they do a counter-attacking.
I'm going 2-1 Spurs.
Counter-attacking.
Spurs defense is always...
Good for a set-piece goal.
Good for a giggle.
Good for a nice, Sanchez falling on his face type of thing.
Good for a knee slap.
Yeah.
I'm going 2-1 because Spurs is in 9th, Leeds is in 15th.
What if Kane suddenly, just finds himself?
He could. I mean, he needs to find form eventually.
He needs to get out of Spurs.
You guys both have the same goal differential at -7, which is a little ominous. Yeah, spit your drink out, Jeff.
We're going to get that back up to 0. We're going to try to move that the dial up back up.
I think that's got to be Conte's first thing. He probably puts that up and he's like, we just need to get back to good.
Yep.
And with that, we're going to look at the fantasy super quick. Jamie Becker is still in first. Mac Bruce is right behind him. Mitch is right behind Mac Bruce. Jeff, you're in 6th. I'm in 10th.
Yeah, but I'm spitting distance to 4th.
Let me see about that.
Spitting distance.
You're 5 points behind.
Yeah, see? Anything could happen.
Oh, Will Hayden has really come up with Mill City. I'm glad the fantasy this year is on fire. And Oz is in 8th. I am 5 points behind Oz. So either Oz isn't trying or the league's gotten better.
I'm trying. I'll say that. I'm trying. I'm not doing what?
Is Jamie Becker trying, or did he just pick the team of the season?
Based on his Instagram, he's traveling the world. He's balling out hard.
Oh, he's not trying. He had Cancelo on the bench and he got 14 points.
Yeah, he's not trying. He's just lucking.
Literally, this is how many points Jamie Becker had on the bench. He had 16, 27. He had 36 points on the bench last game, and he's still in first. That's incredible. 36 on the bench.
Yeah, that means this league is ripe for the taking if Jamie Becker's not paying attention.
But he's still at the top. But maybe he's asleep. I feel like Mac is trying. I feel like Mac reads books and
he's studying hard.
Yeah, he's literate and shit. So that's cute. Ooh, Mac's team's nice. I just love how Mac rocks St. Maximin, and he's not even a Newcastle fan. St. Maximin is just deep in the streets. Just dribble all day. No passes.
I had him on my team for a while, and I couldn't deal with it.
It's
too
a lot.
streaky. It's a lot.
Foster last week had 11 as a goalkeeper.
I know, he
I
saved
had him
the
on my
penalty,
bench
right?
Too. Yeah, he just had a phenomenal game. Well, I think that's it. Coming up to week 12 this week. It's going to be a good week.
I'm just excited to watch some football, not see these weird international games.
Yeah, and on that note, let's go up and watch the Mexico-Canada Frozen game.
Ice Bowl.
Elsa.
Ice Bowl.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch, at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.